In this video, we're going to talk about the finding context clues skill, which is CCR4. And just as a reminder, in the previous video, we talked about how to find quotes easily. So if you need some instruction on that. Also, as a reminder, make sure your students are comfortable with using text evidence and explaining evidence before doing this activity. And another reminder is that when you introduce the activity, be sure to first do teacher-directed time and follow the I do model, where you're going to do the same activity the students are doing and using a think out loud strategy. And then the first student-directed time would be a we do, same activity, but now having the students answer independently without your assistance. But you should be giving some reteaching and making revisions to answers if that's necessary. And then the last student-directed time would be a you all do, which students would be in small groups. And just remember to start off with a Y chart and to model the activity. And just a reminder of how the Y chart could look. You can use this one right here. And just remember that the best Y charts are the ones that students create with support from a teacher for specific answers, and that you also prompt students specifically. So if one student is off task, then you say, Johnny, please remember to make eye contact, and just have that high expectation. Previous video, I talked about preparing quotes in a MLA format, and I suggested turning these double quotation marks into single quotations, so that way you can put quotations around the full text evidence. I can show a simple, quick way to do that. If you click on Edit and then the Replace function, you can tell Word to search your document for quotes and then replace them with apostrophes, and then click Replace All, and you will see all of your quotation marks have been turned into apostrophes, and then that way you can use the proper MLA format, putting quotation marks around the text evidence and then adding page numbers. So this activity is a bit more difficult, so it should take some more scaffolding before introducing it to students for small group time. The way the activity works is you can prepare these quote strips with the key vocabulary underlined in the text. You can find the key vocabulary within our textbooks. Every story or article has 10 vocabulary words that are identified, and then as you use the internet, you can find these quotes and then underline them when you copy and paste them. The point of the activity and the way the I do can look is that you explain to students that you will be using context clues around the text, around the keyword to find out what the word means. So for instance, this word trudged, if I was going to be thinking out loud, I'd say, well, I noticed that Teresa's in this part, and I know that Victor likes Teresa, and also he says, so much for being in the same class, he thought. So it sounds like he's not in the same class, and since he does like Teresa, he would be upset about that. So eventually students could combine it with this piece right here, which says, trudge means take heavy steps, and then the explanation is what I just described in the I do piece. So you can have 10 strips of definitions with the explain section, and then 10 strips of quotes with the keyword underlined, and then within the small groups have students pair these pieces up with the explanation. And as you introduce this, another way to scaffold is that you may include the explanations in there, so that way students, not for all of them, but at least for half of them, just so students can do process of elimination and then have only like 5 to work with and make explanations. Another way to do the we do piece of introducing this activity is that on large pieces of paper, you can print the word inside a quote, just like we had earlier. And when it is on large paper, you can also boldface those clues. And then also have on another piece of paper the definition, and on the last piece of paper an explanation. And then you can have these up on the board, probably working with just 2 or 3 different words with definitions and explanations, and physically sort them around to make those connections. Another way you can do it if you have a pretty relaxed class is that you can hand out each of these papers to a different student, and then have a student with a word and quote come up and read it to the class, post it on the board, and then do some think out loud strategies with the students to figure out the definition, which another student would have who can come up to the board, and then also another student would have the explanation. And then you can do this repeatedly through the We Do session.